Hello everybody and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be looking at my childhood dream passion project, which is my Space Marine Primaris army for Warhammer 40k 10th edition. So grab a brew, get comfortable and let's have a little chat about this absolute amazing project that I'm doing. Yes, so basically I am and have been since 10th edition started, just after 10th edition, decided to do something that I've wanted to do since I was a kid, which is the Howling Griffons. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the camera up and we're going to throw up the artwork. So basically, this picture right here is what I first seen of the Howling Griffons right back in the day. Now, obviously, I got into Warhammer 40k in the late 80s, not really to play. My babysitter kind of gave me a load of Space Marines and a couple of Rhinos and some Squats and a polystyrene fantasy castle, and I kind of played with them like action men and toy soldiers. And it wasn't until I got a little bit older that I actually started to take more interest in the actual game itself. But that was mainly through things like Hero Quest and Space Crusade, and Epic Space Marine was the main game I played. I kind of dabbled into Rogue Trader a little bit before 2nd edition dropped because I was a little bit older and I could kind of understand it a little bit more. But one of the things that I got, other than my Rogue Trader rulebook, which is still on my shelf behind me, is absolutely amazing, by the way. I had the red compendium for Rogue Trader, there was a red one and a yellow one, I believe, and the red one had a lot of Space Marines in it, and this is where this artwork came from. And this was the sort of introduction of the Badab War to Warhammer 40k, and it was just so good, and I remember seeing the Howling Griffons colour scheme and the red and the yellow and just being mesmerised by it. Now this obviously is back in the day when we had lots of really cool things like posters and big spreadsheets, sort of big double page spreads of Rhinos with different coloured camouflage and all of this kind of stuff. And it was such a really cool time. Like, Space Marines didn't really just stick to one colour. They had like multiple camo schemes and everything else. And they were basically, back in those days, they were just regular soldiers in power armour. And it wasn't until sort of coming into 2nd edition and with Epic Space Marine and things like that, that the sort of super soldier and the Primarchs and things started to slowly come into Warhammer 40k, and then they eventually become the super soldiers that we know and love today. So if anyone tells you that lore doesn't change, yes it does. Lore always changes. So yeah, it really does. But one of the really cool things about the Howling Griffons is their colour scheme. Now, I remember trying it as a kid, and at the time, yellow paint and red were pretty notoriously hard to do. Yellow was an incredibly hard colour to paint because of just how bad the pigment was. You used to have to do some weird and wonderful things like get a yellow ink and ink wash over a white base coat, and white wasn't a great colour to use either. So there was a lot of it was really quite difficult, especially for a kid getting into painting for the sort of really first time. It was a little bit too much. So I ended up basically, you know, sort of playing Crimson Fists because they were kind of a little bit easier to play, and they were on the cover of Rogue Trader as well. And eventually I just binned all that completely and just played Space Wolves. But yeah, the Howling Griffons. So the Howling Griffons has definitely been a passion project since 10th. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be getting the camera and we're going to be flipping down and I'm going to show you some of the models that I've been working on right now. It's such a really cool project, and I really can't wait to get them onto the camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the camera, I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to show you what I'm working on. I'm going to show you what I'm working on right now. And this is going to be building up. I am going to be doing a painting tutorial. So if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, now is your time to do so. Subscribe, like, comment, share, do all of that stuff as well. And you can check out the members in the Patreon area. So yeah, if you really want to help me in other ways, you can do. But yeah, so there will be a painting tutorial on how I do this. Because it is quite a difficult scheme to do. Yellow is a little bit easier nowadays with the Citadel paints. Red's a little bit easier as well, but it can still get quite difficult, especially with those quarter schemes. So what we'll do is we'll flip the camera and we'll have a little look at what I've been working on. Okay, so here we are. Flip the camera around. So it all started with this guy right here, and this was a Sterngar model that I got, and I did a test scheme, and this guy was pretty much the test model. Really quite happy with how he turned out. The yellow is a lot different from how I eventually will go about doing it. So it's kind of cool. But I'm really quite pleased with how he come out. And obviously, the Howling Griffons are pretty interesting in the fact that they don't have company markings and things like that. But I kind of wanted to sort of imply that their codex is there. And I've seen a little bit of sort of information that their sergeants generally do have like black helmets with white stripes and stuff. So what I did was I was like, cool, this sergeant is going to have that. Once I did that, I then started work on the Terminators. And obviously the new Terminators come out for 10th edition. And I was like, I really need to get, you know, these guys. So I was like, I really need to get these guys. And I added a banner because I thought that would be really cool. A nice little nod to 2nd edition. And the decals are from a company called Mighty Brush. They are so good. So good. So big shout out to Mighty Brush. So obviously I still need to get all of the bases and everything done. And I want to finish the Power Sword blades. But all in all, I'm actually quite happy with this. So I've got the full squad of these guys done. There's this guy. There's this guy. And I really like it. Like the color scheme is obviously really striking, and it's really fun to paint. These new Terminators are just so good. And this is one of the main reasons why I started a new Space Marine army, rather than sticking to the World Eaters, because I just wanted to, just really sort of dig in. And I've seen a lot of people do these sort of cool designs and things on the fists, so I thought I want to do one, so I did. And there's this other guy here. So the first Terminator squad is like done. I just need to get the bases finished, and yeah, really quite happy with how they turned out. But the army itself is getting really cool. And obviously, you can't have a Terminator squad without an assault cannon. Obviously, I need to finish highlighting all the black areas there on it, and I think there's a couple of little sort of lights, lenses and things that I'll just need to go back and do. But all in all, pretty happy with them. So the first Terminator squad was done, and I got my hands on this captain, and I love this captain. This guy is from the Leviathan set, and you can also get him in the starter boxes. I think I got the normal starter set, not the ultimate starter set, not the one with that comes with terrain, but the normal starter set. I think it's like £60. You get the Terminators, you get this guy, and you get the Flamer intercessors with flamers. Yeah, so I'm really quite happy with this guy. This is like the model that I really wanted, because I really like this Terminator captain. He's such a really nice model. So I got rid of the Tyranid head, built a bit of a rock base for him to stand on, and then started painting him up. And if you've been like watching on me over on Instagram, you'll sort of see this. And he's pretty cool. Again, just need to finish off the base, and he is good to go. So really quite happy with how he looks. He is an amazing model. He's a chunky boy, and I think he'll look really good. But that is not all. Obviously, I have started the second Terminator squad, and really trying to push my painting on this one. The faces for this guy, I think, is really a big sort of improvement on some of my other faces, and that's down to thanks to Infernal Brush, aka Dave, who's a former heavy metal painter who has a really cool tutorial up on his Patreon of how to do faces like the studio team. So currently working on the second one, and there's the next Terminator for that squad. But that wasn't all. I also had this guy, and I actually went for the decision of giving him the black power armor, because he's like a lone operative covert guy, and I thought that would be really cool to sort of have the black power armor, and the sort of the nice green on the blade and all that kind of good stuff. And I thought that would look really snazzy, and I think he turned out really well. So obviously, you've got the red and yellow on the shoulders, and on the knee. Again, need to finish the base off. Should have taken that off his foot, but hey, you know, he's killing nids. He is the nid guy. That's kind of cool. You couldn't have, you know, some Terminators without a Terminator chaplain. Give him the shield because shields are cool. Nice black power armor and everything else. There's actually a painting tutorial for this guy up on the channel if you want to check it out. But so I've got various troops on the go, and obviously there's another unit of Terminators. I will be expanding this into 3 units of 5 intercessors. But I thought I needed some guns, so I bought some guns, and I got a dreadnought. So I still need to finish off the black on the area and the bases, but you know I thought, you know what, let's get some guns, and this allowed me to really sort of play around with bringing in some heavy contrast between the light and the dark shadows and stuff, and I think I did a really good job on it. It's such a nice model, and he's a big boy. He's a big boy. And yeah, really kind of chuffed. So he's almost finished. So I'm really looking forward to getting these little black areas done. And then that is it, done. I did have another dreadnought, which I've got the base coats in. And I'm going to slowly start like layering up. And I've got the arms and everything else. So I've got a second dreadnought. I'm very tempted to get a third dreadnought and get the close combat one. Is it the... not the ballistas, I don't know what it's called. If you know what it's called, let me know in the comments below. And obviously, I got really excited and then thought to myself, you know what? I need a list. I need a list. So I wrote a list, and then I thought, you know what? I need a lieutenant. A lieutenant to sort of potentially lead 6 Blade Guard. So I picked up this new lieutenant, and he is here. You'll probably be seeing him very soon in a painting tutorial. But then I thought, you know what? I need guns. I need really big guns. So I got really big guns. And I really wanted to do a tank. Now this hasn't been varnished yet. And I've just noticed that I've caught the paint on this side here. And the paint's just chipped off the side. So I just need to fix that up, and then it'll be getting varnished. And I need to finish these 2 parts here. But all in all, the tank was probably one of the coolest projects I've done regarding this army so far. It was super fun to try to get the quartering and everything in, and the decals on and everything else. I'm like really chuffed with how it looks. But that's not all, obviously. I'm right now working on the turret. So yeah, I've got the turret as well, which is going to be quite cool. So there you go, the turret as well. Once the red and everything else is on, the turret is going to be in its place. But yeah, that's the army so far. I'm really super doped about it. Really like super excited. But we're going to flip back over on the camera. So yeah, that's the army basically as it grows. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of tutorials. I'm going to do a tutorial on one of the intercessors, or possibly that lieutenant. I haven't fully decided yet, but it has been a really cool passion project, and I have loved this scheme since I was a kid. And obviously, my painting skills back in those days weren't that great. So to be able to do it now and do it justice is like really amazing, and it's like super cool. And I'm so happy to be able to be able to do it and sort of fulfill that like childhood dream of having a Howling Griffons army. And I think once it's fully done, and I mean, like I have like something else, but if you've checked out my Instagram, you'll see I do have a Reboot Guilliman in full non-metallic metal is coming on. In fact, what I'll do now is I'll quickly flip the camera and I'll show you Reboot Guilliman. So of course, you can't have an Ultramarine successor army without actually having the boss man of the Ultramarines. And yeah, this is a really fun model that I'm working on, and he's full non-metallic, which is, I know, mental. It sounded like a really good idea when I started it, and then when I started getting into it, as you can see, I've still got the back of the legs to do and finish off the sword. And then I've got this arm and then the power pack and everything. But yeah, sounded like a really good idea at the time. Yeah, and how wrong was I? Yeah, so it's turned into a little bit of a little bit of a slog, but I'm really pleased with how he's looking so far. Like really. So yeah, really pleased with how he's looking. The shoulder pad was one of the things I was really looking forward to painting, and quite happy with how that turned out. So yeah, he's obviously the big boss man of the army. So you can't have a Space Marine army without a big Primarch centerpiece. It's just the rules. You've got to do it. If you've got one available, do it. Dark Angel players, you've got to get the Lion. Space Marine players, you've got to get Roboute Guilliman if you can. So yeah, that's Roboute Guilliman. So yeah, this is like I said, this is a really sort of fun personal project for me. And I'm really chuffed. So if you like what I'm doing and you like my Howling Griffons, head over to Instagram and give me a follow on there. And there's lots of pictures and lots of work in progress pictures as well. If you really like sort of what I'm doing, you can subscribe to this channel, which would be a really good. You can comment and help feed the algorithm, which would be amazing. And you can like, share, and do all of that good stuff as well. There is a painting tutorial coming for the Howling Griffons, and there will be many more. And as well, check out my new series, The Best the Black Library, which is also coming. And I will see you all in the next video, people. Goodbye for now.